Hello, welcome. Again, we are reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, first canto, chapter 3. The chapter is entitled, Krishna is the source of all incarnations. So I'll just be reading mostly English. There'll be a few key verses or verses that I like that I'll read the Sanskrit too. Mostly it's going to be just the English translations. And again, I'm reading from Srimad Bhagavatam by His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. So first I'll offer a prayer to my spiritual masters and beg for their causeless mercy. Jnanatimirandasya jnananjanashalakaya chakshurunmilitam jena tasmai Sri Gurave Namaha. Jai Shri Rup Shri Sanatan Bhatta Raghunath Sri Jiva Gopala Bhatta Dasa Raghunath. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Srivasari Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Sutta said, in the beginning of the creation, the Lord first expanded himself in the universal form of the Purusha incarnation and manifested all the ingredients for the material creation. And thus at first there was a creation of the 16 principles of material action. This was for the purpose of creating the material universe. A part of the Purusha lies down within the water of the universe. From the navel lake of his body sprouts a lotus stem, and from the lotus flower atop this stem, Brahma, the master of all engineers in the universe, becomes manifest. It is believed that all the universal planetary systems are situated on the extensive body of the Purusha, but he has nothing to do with the created material ingredients. His body is eternally in spiritual existence par excellence. The devotees, with their perfect eyes, see the transcendental form of the Purusha, who has thousands of legs, thighs, arms, and faces, all extraordinary. In that body there are thousands of heads, ears, eyes, and noses. They are decorated with thousands of helmets and glowing earrings, and are adorned with garlands. Text 5. This form, the second manifestation of the Purusha, which is called Garbhodakshaya Vishnu, is the source and indescribable seed of multifarious incarnations within the universe. From the particles and portions of this form, different living entities like demigods, men, and others are created. First of all, in the beginning of creation, there were the 4 unmarried sons of Brahma, the Kumaras, who, being situated in a vow of celibacy, underwent severe austerities for realization of the absolute truth. The supreme enjoyer of all sacrifices accepted the incarnation of a boar, the second incarnation, and for the welfare of the earth, he lifted the earth from the nether regions of the universe. In the millennium of the rishis, the personality of Godhead accepted the third empowered incarnation in the form of Devarshi Narada, who is a great sage among the demigods. He collected expositions of the Vedas which deal with devotional service and which inspire non-fruitive action. In the fourth incarnation, the Lord became Nara and Narayan, the twin sons of the wife of King Dharma. Thus he undertook severe and exemplary penance to control the senses. The fifth incarnation, namely Lord Kapila, is foremost among perfected beings. He gave an exposition of the creative elements and metaphysics to Asuri Brahmana, for in course of time this knowledge had been lost. The sixth incarnation of the Purusha was a son of the sage Atri. He was born from the womb of Anusuya. So the son of the sage Atri, his name is Dattatreya, who prayed for an incarnation. He spoke on the subject of transcendence to Alarka, Prahlad, and others. The seventh incarnation was Yagna, the son of Prajapati, Ruchi, and his wife Akuti. He controlled the period during the change of the Swayambhuva Manu and was assisted by demigods such as his son Yama. The eighth incarnation was King Rishabha, son of King Nabi, and his wife Meru Devi. In this incarnation, the Lord showed the path of perfection, which is followed by those who have fully controlled their senses and who are honored by all orders of life. O Brahmanas, in the ninth incarnation, the Lord prayed for by sages accepted the body of a king, Prithu, who cultivated the land to yield various produces, and for that reason the earth was beautiful and attractive. When there was a complete inundation after the period of the Chakshusha Manu, and the whole world was deep within water, the Lord accepted the form of a fish and protected Vaivashvata Manu, keeping him up on a boat. The 11th incarnation of the Lord took the form of a tortoise, whose shell served as a pivot for the Mandara Chala hill, which is being used as a churning rod by the theists and atheists of the universe. In the 12th incarnation, the Lord appeared as Dhanvantari, and in the 13th he lured the atheist by the charming beauty of a woman and gave nectar to the demigods to drink. That was Mohini Murti. Krishna took a beautiful form of a woman to allure the atheists. In the 14th incarnation, the Lord appeared as Nisingha and bifurcated the strong body of the atheist Hiranyakashipu with his nails, just as a carpenter pierces cane. In the 15th incarnation, the Lord assumed the form of a dwarf Brahmana, Vaman, and visited the arena of sacrifice arranged by Maharaj Bali. Although at heart he was willing to regain the kingdom of the 3 planetary systems, he simply asked for a donation of 3 steps of land. In the 16th incarnation of the Godhead, the Lord as Bhrigupati annihilated the administrative class, the Kshatriyas, 21 times being angry with them because of the rebellion against the Brahmanas. So that was King Lord Parashuram. Thereafter, in the 17th incarnation of Godhead, Sri Vyasadeva appeared in the womb of Satyavati through Parashara Muni, and he divided this one Veda into several branches and sub-branches, seeing that the people in general were less intelligent. In the 18th incarnation, the Lord appeared as King Ram in order to perform some pleasing work for the demigods. He exhibited superhuman prowess by controlling the Indian Ocean and then killing the atheist King Ravan, who was on the other side of the sea in Lanka. And we'll be celebrating the appearance day of Lord Ramchandra very soon. In the 19th and 20th incarnation, the Lord advented himself as Lord Balaram and Lord Krishna in the family of Vrishni, the Yadu dynasty, and by so doing, he removed the burden of the world. Then, in the beginning of Kali Yuga, the Lord will appear as Lord Buddha, the son of Anjana, in the province of Gaya, just for the purpose of deluding those who are envious of the faithful theists. Thereafter, at the conjunction of two yugas, the Lord of creation will take his birth as the Kalaki incarnation and become the son of Vishnu Yasha. At this time, the rulers of the earth will have degenerated into plunderers. O Brahmana, the incarnations of the Lord are innumerable, like rivulets flowing from inexhaustible sources of water. All the rishis, manus, demigods, and descendants of Manu, who are especially powerful, are plenary portions, or portions of the plenary portions of the Lord. This also includes Prajapatis. Now here's a very, I guess you could say, famous verse that's quoted a lot by our acharyas, where it's describing Krishna to be not one of the incarnations, but the source of all incarnations of the Lord. So I'll read the Sanskrit. Ete changsa kala pungsa Krishnastu bhagavan swayam Indrari vyakulam lokam mridhayanti yuge yuge. All of the above-mentioned incarnations are either plenary portions or portions of the plenary portions of the Lord. But Lord Sri Krishna is the original personality of Godhead. All of them appear on planets. Whenever there is a disturbance created by the atheists, the Lord incarnates to protect the theists. Whoever carefully recites the mysterious appearance of the Lord with devotion in the morning and in the evening gets relief from all miseries of life. The conception of the Virat universal form of the Lord as appearing in the material world is imaginary. It is to enable the less intelligent and neophytes to adjust to the idea of the Lord's having form. But if actually the Lord has no material form. Clouds and dust are carried by the air, but less intelligent persons say that the sky is cloudy and the air is dirty. Similarly, they also implant material bodily conceptions on the spirit self. Beyond this gross conception of form is another subtle conception of form, which is without formal shape and is unseen, unheard, and unmanifest. The living being has his form beyond this subtlety, otherwise he cannot have repeated births. Whenever a person experiences by self-realization that both the gross and subtle bodies have nothing to do with the pure self, at that time he sees himself as well as the Lord. If the illusory energy subsides and the living entity becomes fully enriched with knowledge by the grace of the Lord, then he becomes at once enlightened with self-realization and thus becomes situated in his own glory. Thus learned men describe the births and activities of the unborn and inactive, which is undiscoverable even in the Vedic literatures. He is the Lord of the heart. The Lord, whose austerities are always The Lord, whose activities are always spotless, is the master of the six senses and is fully omnipotent with six opulences. He creates the manifested universes, maintains them, and annihilates them without being in the least affected. He is within every living being and is always independent. The foolish, with a poor fund of knowledge, cannot know the transcendental nature of the forms, names, and activities of the Lord, who is playing like an actor in a drama. Nor can they express such things, neither in their speculations nor in their words. Only those who render unreserved, uninterrupted, favorable service unto the lotus feet of Lord Krishna, who carries the wheel of the chariot in his hand, can know the Creator of the universe in his full glory, power, and transcendence. Only by making such inquiries in this world can one be successful and perfectly cognizant. For such inquiries invoke transcendental, ecstatic love unto the personality of Godhead, who is the proprietor of all the universes, and guarantee cent% immunity from the dreadful repetition of birth and death. This Srimad Bhagavatam is the literary incarnation of God, and it is compiled by Srila Vyasadeva, the incarnation of God. It is meant for the ultimate good of all people, and it is all successful, all blissful, and all perfect. Sri Vyasadeva delivered it to his son, who is the most respected among the self-realized. So the son of Srila Vyasadeva is Shukadeva Goswami. After extricating the cream of all the Vedic literatures and histories of the universe. I'm going to read that verse again. Sri Vyasadeva delivered it to his son, who is the most respected among the self-realized, after extracting the cream of all Vedic literatures and histories of the universe. So Sri Vyasadeva, he compiled all the Vedic literatures. And even after writing all these Vedic literatures, he was not satisfied. He felt like something was lacking. He met his spiritual master, Sri Narada Muni, who told him, "Oh Vyasadeva, you wrote all these Vedic literatures, the Puranas, Mahabharata, Ramayana, but you forgot to glorify the name, form, qualities, and pastimes of the Supreme Lord. So please write Srimad Bhagavatam, and in this way you will be satisfied and glorify the Lord and his devotees in the best way." Shukadeva Goswami, the son of Vyasadeva, in his turn delivered the Bhagavatam to the great Emperor Maharaj Parikshit, who sat surrounded by sages on the bank of the Ganges, awaiting death without taking food or drink. There's a beautiful verse. Krishne swadamupagate dharma jnanadibhi saha kalo nashtadrisham mesha puranako dunodita. This Bhagavat Purana is as brilliant as the sun, and it has arisen just after the departure of Lord Krishna to his own abode, accompanied by religious knowledge, etc. Accompanied by religion, knowledge, etc. Persons who have lost their vision due to the dense darkness of ignorance in the age of Kali shall get light from this Purana. O learned Brahmanas, when Shukadeva Goswami recited Bhagavatam there in the presence of Emperor Parikshit, I heard him with rapt attention, And thus, by his mercy, I learned the Bhagavatam from the great and powerful sage. Now I shall try to make you hear the very same thing as I learned it from him, and as I have realized it. So this is Sutta Goswami, who's again reciting the Bhagavatam to Shaunaka Rishi and many other sages, again at Naima Sharanya. This Bhagavatam was spoken just after the departure of Lord Krishna 5,000 years ago by Shukadeva Goswami to Maharaj Parikshit. And in that audience was Sutta Goswami, who heard the Bhagavatam from Shukadeva. So now he is again explaining this same Bhagavatam to Shaunaka Rishi. So thus ends the Bhaktivedanta purports of the first canto, third chapter of the Srimad Bhagavatam, entitled Krishna is the source of all incarnations. I have a little kirtan. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandhu Jagapate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gourangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Pranamami Hari Priye Pranamami Hari Priye. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Radhe Radhe Govinda Govinda Radhe, Radhe Radhe Govinda Govinda Radhe, Radhe Radhe Govinda Govinda Radhe, Radhe Radhe Govinda Govinda Radhe. Jai Shri Radhe, Jai Gurudev.